Hi, my name is Cam Kuhn. I'm president of the National Cambodian Heritage Museum and Killing Fields Memorial. Welcome to today's program, the Cambodian Day of Remembrance, Stories and Music for Healing. April 17, 1975 marks the beginning of the Cambodian Genocide, where a quarter of the population were systematically persecuted and killed by the Khmer Rouge. An estimated 1.7 million people died over the next 4 years. The Day of Remembrance commemorates those who lost their lives in the genocide while celebrating the resilience of the Cambodian people. These are strange times. We realize that there's a lot going on in the world right now, and you've chosen to spend this time with us as we create this space for healing and reflection. Thank you for sharing this space with us today. Today's program is a collaboration between the National Cambodian Heritage Museum, our artist in residence, Punisa Bo, Crossing Borders Music, and Ada Chang, a professional storyteller. I want to thank everyone who are participating today and who helped make this program possible. They've been working hard behind the scenes leading up to this event, including our executive director, Paul Chaum, associate director, Karu Watanabe, and vice president, Tabri Krut, who is managing the technical portion of today's program behind the scenes. I want to thank today's major supporters, Albert Pich Jr. Fund, Illinois Humanities, and the Chicago Community Trust Asian Giving Circle. The program will include a candlelight vigil with Buddhist monks, music collaboration with Crossing Borders Music, stories by Cambodian survivors, Pich Houy, Saroth Loeuk, and Celena Chin, facilitated by Ada Chang. We will wrap up with musical performances by Punisa Bo. We hope you enjoy the program today. At this time, I would like to introduce our executive director, Paul Chaum, to lead the candlelight vigil.
Chia bát thom khiêm cả na sung thôi kể ra cách chủng phu bia trai cún cứ bia put bia thua bia sang sung thoai bằng cung bia để cún nâng cú rút đỡ bong ôn để miền vật miền nâu tì anh anu saran than ní nâng không andra Khmer nâng anu saran than tại pro thị Maha Bang School không này bên chung cơ sở đó pro lưng này bộc bẹ bồ rót nângประชาชนខ្មែរយើងដែលបានបាត់បង់ជីវិតក្នុងរបបប្រល័យពូជសាសន៍នាសតសវត្សរ៍ឆ្នាំ70កម្មវិធីត្រូវបានរៀបចំឡើងចាប់តាំងពីការបង្កើតអនុស្សាវរីយ៍នេះម្លេះជាធម្មតាកម្មវិធីនេះមានភាពអធិកអធមតែដោយសារមានបញ្ហាអសន្នរោគទើបយើងប្រារព្ធពិធីនេះតាមអន្តរបណ្ដាញយើងខ្ញុំសូមសង្ឃឹមថាពិធីនេះអាចជួយជាកម្លាំងចិត្តដល់បងប្អូនក្នុងពេលដ៏លំបាកនេះសូមអរគុណ First and foremost I would like to pay the tribute to the triple gems, the Buddha, the Sangha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, also the venerable and the fellow Cambodian and friends throughout the virtual world. Every year, the Maha Bang School, the great offerings, conduct and pay tribute to our ancestors and the life lost during the Khmer Rouge era in the 70s. The event starts since the inception of the memorial. During the pre-pandemic, this virtual was joined by community members. We hope this virtual event will bring hope to all. Please join me and listen to the sermon led by the two venerable that are here today. Thank you. Tháng họ bấyได้ผมคงแต่เมียนตุกโดนบ้าน้องโอกาสนี้ส่งออกคุณ
Tujuan kau Yanang manti vatano evan svahijayo hanavajaya sajaya mangale apara cita palang ke se pathavipo phare apise ke saput hianang akya pata pamo tete sunyak patang sungyang kelyang saput hiatang Sokhana sumohata casuyat hang brahmachari supatya khenang kaya kamang riya kamang patya khenang manok kamang na patya khenang dikatwa nalakwan tathe patya khenang
បាទ
Samakwan. I'd like to introduce Ada Chang, who is a professor turned storyteller, solo performer, and storytelling show producer. We are honored to have her lead storytelling workshops with the Cambodian community and her work with the women who are joining us here today to share their powerful stories.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to be included in the planning session. I will talk more about how this program came together, and I'll introduce the three women that will be sharing their stories. Thank you.
Thanks, Ada. We also have here with us Tom Clues, who is the founder and executive director of Crossing Borders Music. He has been a friend and ally of the Cambodian Museum over the years.
Tom. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Kem. It's such an honor to be here today representing Crossing Borders Music in this very important occasion. Crossing Borders Music's mission is to use music to promote the dignity of people from all cultures. And this is maybe the most important and stirring project that I've ever been involved with. And I really thank you all for giving us the chance. I want to let people know who don't know about the history of Cambodian music and arts. Just to say that it's centuries old and very beautiful and wonderful and a treasure. During the Cambodian Genocide, artists in particular, including musicians, were targeted, and 90% of them did not survive. After that genocide, there were heroic efforts led by Anshorn Pan to find those survivors who were master musicians and master artists and pass those traditions down to younger generations so that those traditions could survive. And he founded the organization that became Cambodian Living Arts. It's there that Punisa Pau, the resident artist of the museum, trained. And so she is now able to share that tradition with people here in Chicago. And that story continues today because she has been generous enough to share that tradition with us. And we benefit by sharing in that incredible tradition. And of course, we bring our own perspectives. Our violinist, Rasa Mahmoudian, made these beautiful arrangements that you'll hear today of mostly traditional Cambodian music. It's my hope that that music is helpful in this healing process. What I know for sure is that this music has enriched us and touched our hearts very much. And we're so grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful to be involved in this community. And I especially want to say, Pich, Saroth, and Celena, we are so, so inspired by your courage and your strength and the power of your voices. I am inspired, so thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for having us be a part of it. Akun.
Tom, thank you for the introduction. And I also want to acknowledge you for the journey that you've walked with us over the years, because you have walked with us side by side and have been a true collaborator on this project. So I want to thank you for that as well. And I don't mean it lightly when we call you an honorary Cambodian. So thank you. Nisa Bao is our artist in residence at the museum. She has been absolutely amazing. She has been the bridge by using her music to heal and share and connect with us, bringing out the history and the stories and the traditions and the music through our elders, and also being able to share that tradition with our young people as well. So, Nisa.
Thank you, Kham. ជំរាបសួរដល់បងប្អូនអំពូមីងយាយតាទាំងអស់គ្នានាងខ្ញុំចាឈ្មោះពៅពនីសាជាតន្ត្រីករណីខ្មែរបុរាណនៃសារមន្ទីរខ្មែរនិងអនុស្សាវរីយ៍ដ្ឋានវាលពិឃាតប្រចាំសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកចានៅថ្ងៃនេះនាងខ្ញុំនឹងធ្វើជាអ្នកបកប្រែចាដល់អ្នកមីងទាំង3ដែលគាត់នឹងនិយាយរឿងនេះបន្តិចទៀតនេះទន្ទឹមនឹងនោះផងដែរនាងខ្ញុំនឹងនិយាយពិពណ៌នាអំពីបទចម្រៀងនិងបទភ្លេងដែលនឹងប្រគំនៅរវាងការនិយាយរឿងផងដែរជំរាបសួរ again. Hello, my name is Punisa Pau. I'm an artist in residence at the National Cambodian Heritage Museum and Killing Fields Memorial. Later today, I'm going to help interpret the storytellings from our 3 ladies, and at the same time, I'm also going to give you the introduction and the description about the song that's going to happen in between of the storytelling. And Tom, thank you so much. And thanks to Crossing Borders Music and the string quartets, I had a really great time and learned a lot from playing with all of you. And thanks to Mr. Raza Mahmudian, who rearranged the Cambodian music beautifully. Thank you so much. And then the first 2 songs that you will be hearing are Retsmai Duang Chan and Phumia Chakongkai. Retsmai Duang Chan, it means moonlight. The song that we could all relate it to when we longing or missing someone or wanted to be somewhere. As I work with the Cambodian community for quite some time, and all the conversation we had was about missing family members and longing to visit their homeland. And this song is dedicated to them. The second song is Phumia Chakongkai, which means Phumia Chakongkai, which means the Burmese hunt the frog. And this music is the fun storytelling in a poetic way that reminding us of the good old times when there was not a lot of books around, and Cambodian people love to listen to storytelling through music and singing. Let's hear Retsmai Duang Chan and Phumia Chakongkai. តែមានបញ្ហាបច្ចេកទេសបន្តិចបន្តួចចាសូមរងចាំ There's the technology issue.
Take a few minutes while we switch over to the next video.
Great. Thank you so much for the music, Anissa. Thank you for introducing us to the music. Hi, everyone. My name is Ada Jen. I'm a storyteller, and I have been working with the National Cambodian Heritage Museum for several years now. Gosh, if I get emotional, that's because I'm emotional. Let me explain how we started this project. We started a meeting for planning last year, and Lisa suggested that it was very important that we involve the women in the language and singing group. And I'm so glad that she made this suggestion. So since early this year, we have been able to meet with Celena Chin, Saroth Loeuk, and Pich Houy, all three women, weekly, every Sunday afternoon for an hour or more for them to share their stories. So how do we do that? Each time I give them a prompt, and they spend an hour telling the stories about their survival, their experiences in Cambodia, escaping the genocide in the refugee camp, and how they arrived in this country. And adjusting to the life in the United States. And it is in this process of sharing that I realize, and we all recognize how important it is to highlight their leadership and their strength and resilience as Cambodian women, as they serve as the pillars to sustain their family, also support their community. So it is very important for us to honor their strength and resilience as they play invisible role behind the scene. And so that's what we're going to do today, is to bring these women and to share their stories. And keep in mind, this is the first time that they're going to share their stories in public. So all of us are going to be nervous. So thank you so much. Thank you, Celena, Saroth, and Pich. So I'm going to give you the first prompt. The first prompt is this, and then Celena and then Pich will be the one to answer this prompt. Why is it important for you to share your story on the Day of Remembrance? Why is it important to you? Celena, we're going to start with you. Go ahead.
My name is my name is Celena Chin, and I've been growing up in Chicago, and I'm married to my husband Sam, who born during the killing field, and I have beautiful children, 3 children, 1 boy and 1 daughter, Nathan Chin and Bethany Chin. I love my community. I love, especially going to the temple, going to the Cambodian Association. So by being love my community, I want to tell this story that can, they can live on, they can put us to history, so they can continue to know what is the family history like. I know it's not easy, and it's not, it's difficult to be living a double life in United States by parenting your children, as well taking care of your parent who was born during the genocide. I would just hope the story will continue on. Hopefully the new generation, such as my children, my grandchildren, or great-grandchildren, as long they like and sharing the story and sharing life as in a community, that I hope this can be record as for the memory, maybe by researching for life of the mom, the dad. And sadly, I live here with my parents that who passed, both of them will pass away here, including my dad recently in September. But anyway, the reason one I think is very important, that was based on the past experience. I'm not a professional, like I mentioned, so I just try my best to explain this to help our community to be move on and live on, and to be parenting. It's okay to accept, that we live it, even though it's different culture between your own children and you. But it's the fact that you have to accept the generation, the way you discipline your children, as well you as well you live on the community. So I used to think discipline is so different, but now since I experienced with this past 2 months, I think I decide to tell this story. I hope you enjoy in the next segment. Thank you for inviting me in. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Celena. You just explained to us why it is so, oh gosh, you made me cry every time, Celena. It is so important for us to tell, to hear the older generations of their stories about survival, so we don't forget about the history. Pich, would you like to go ahead and share with us why it is important for you to share your story on the Day of Remembrance? Pich, go ahead. Make sure to unmute yourself. Thank you.
ជំរាបសួរ ខ្ញុំឈ្មោះពេជ្រ ខ្ញុំបានរស់រានមានជីវិតនឹងឃើញពលឺព្រះអាទិត្យម្ដងទៀតនៅក្នុងជំរំខាវីដាង ខ្ញុំមានមោទនភាពជាខ្លាំងដែលចង់ដឹងអំពីបញ្ហាជីវិតផ្ទាល់ខ្លួនរបស់ខ្ញុំដែលខ្ញុំបានឆ្លងកាត់កន្លងមក ថាវាមានសារៈសំខាន់ប៉ុណ្ណានោះគឺដោយសារតែវាគឺជាខ្សែជីវិតពិតរបស់ខ្ញុំដែលខ្ញុំបានធ្លាប់ជួបប្រទះអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំបានឆ្លងកាត់ដោយផ្ទាល់នឹងឃើញនឹងភ្នែកហើយអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំចងចាំបានមិនភ្លេចគ្រប់ឧបសគ្គទាំងឡាយដែលបានអន្ទោលតាមប្រាណរបស់ខ្ញុំគឺមិនអាចបំភ្លេចបាននៅក្នុងដួងចិត្តរបស់ខ្ញុំហើយខ្ញុំអរគុណដែលបានចំណាយពេលវេលាដ៏មានតម្លៃចង់ដឹងនៅខ្សែជីវិតពិតរបស់ខ្ញុំនេះខ្ញុំមានតែប៉ុណ្្នឹងឯងសូមអរគុណ
Hello, my name is Pich. I survived and got to see the sunrise again at the refugee camp Khmer Rouge. What we have went through is a story that I experienced and remembers all the obstacles and the hard time that I had. So today, thank you so much for spending your time to listening to my true story.
Thank you, Pit. Thank you, Celena. And Nisha, thank you for the interpretation. Take it over to introduce the next segment of the music. Thank you.
Thank you. So our next piece of music is Champa Battambang, which means the champa flower from Battambang. It was written by Mr. Sin Sisamut in 1965, and he was kind of a legendary Cambodian singer and songwriter. And the lyrics are about the flower of Battambang that the singer had to leave behind and how beautiful it was, and remembering that flower. And of course, it's not about a flower, right? It's about a loved one left behind in Battambang and how that true love remains even though we're separated and we're forced to leave that person behind. I think for so many Cambodians and Cambodian Americans, this song takes on a new and poignant meaning now, separated from Battambang, where a number of our storytellers today are connected to, and separated from Cambodia. It's remembering very fondly what was and that beauty, and also just feeling sad about the separation too. So we hope you keep that in mind for Champa Battambang.
Oh, thank you so much. Beautiful music, beautiful music. Thank you, everyone. So this comes to our second segment of the storytelling segment, it's storytelling. And so I'm going to have Celena and Saroth to share their experiences. And this is the prompt for this segment. And the prompt is, what do you remember the most as a child in Cambodia or as a refugee? And remember, all the experiences that they share with us will be really important for us to understand the present. That's why we need to listen to the older generations to really understand the lessons. What do you remember the most as a child in Cambodia and as a refugee? Selena, go ahead.
Well, thank you. As I was in a refugee, remember was a starvation, lack of education, illiterate, now and then. But that's what it's hard for me to share because besides starvation, I remember was eating rats, snakes, snail, and other bugs. But when I remember the most is when I was in the camp of the Cambodia, a border of Thailand. It's called Jumrum Thmai. Because again, I have 8 siblings. The food was never enough, and my family were trying. My older brother and my mom and my dad, they tried to survive. So we moved to. It took 2 weeks to move to the border. One day when we lived there, there was a battle between the Khmer. We thought right away. We thought it was freedom was over, but at that time, one day was the battle between the Khmer Rouge and the freedom fighter. They were attack each other. So it was horrible, horrible, horrible that I was really witness with a woman lay down there in the camp with while she was nursing and us breastfeeding. The baby was still in the mommy's breastfeeding at the same time. At the moment when I glanced, I didn't know was the mother was alive or dead. But as a child myself, it I wish I could have the woman, but everybody was going to a different direction, just looking for place a bunker or places to stay. That was happening the most in the first camp. And also I forgot to add, also I witnessed a lot of people got shot, people that at the time when they shot, they fall down, but people would step on people would step on the people who won, lose the leg, lose the limb. So at that time I was separated from my mom. My dad was because I'm trying to get together to the next camp. So I was jump into the food truck that the government give it to us. So I was arrived into the.
It's okay. Take your time.
Yeah, it was transferred to the next camp where it said, you see this picture. That was my Then we were stayed in a shelter for about 1 day, and then they put us into the find us to live into section to section, and the house was here built by the bamboo. It was not a good experience. You can say it's crowded, but that was the first camp that I arrived, and then I see there's a school and the church, and the school, the church, and the temple was built. They started a little bit. So then first time in my life, I have to, realize this is school. My mom registered me in the school the first time when I want to say the age of 11 or 12. but then you know, and then that was the first time that I'm like, oh, this is school, this is church. This is where I belong to, you know. And then when she told when it's school system there, it's different. When she registered me to in school, she go like, oh, you know what, just leave my my daughter I just do whatever. So the discipline is a little bit different. The beating and the hitting, abusing here is nothing compared to there, because what they do, the mother, hit, whipping everywhere in the camp, and even the teacher. And then that was I learned just the basic, not even know the subject, just to start like ABC, call, go, go, and a little bit math from the school start between 9 to around 12 o'clock. Due to the lack of food, so school education and school was not important for me. So after I study, after school, I'm trying to get that extra resource. I crochet and then netting for a living. So we earn a little bit of money due to my culture. You know, the girl is not important to study, would be the last person, because you have to have money to pay for classes. So again, and then I was put into a lot of chore after my mom, because even though I'm number 6 from the 8 sibling, but because I'm an older girl, I have to be a lot of responsible, do after my mom chore. So after that, I was with the other one that I didn't forget. I still have a nightmare. I was see the woman who, I don't know what was issue. A young woman was hang herself. I don't know what situation it was, but she hang herself in the morning, and then I witnessed the woman who her tongue come out this long, and it's very disgusting to see. And then after that, I saw the man and you know, trying to get out the gate in Khao Dang camp, because they gated out to the gate just to get supply surviving. He got shot and his eyeball come up like this, lay down there. It's very difficult I'm not the only child that watched there. I see a lot of people just surrounded by watching. Imagine just people just want to survive. So because of, I lived there for, I don't remember again the year and the date, because of I have no idea what the date was, the year was. And then everything was supported by, I was lucky because I have older sibling who make documents and apply for apply to be sponsorship to United States. So then everything was they make a decision. So I'm not even know that I was here in United States right now, as freedom as this country. So that was my story that I remember the most during as a child in the refugee camp. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Celena. I really appreciate that every time you bare your soul and really share the details with us. And it is so important. So I really appreciate you. Saroth, describe to us, what do you remember the most as a child in Cambodia or as a refugee?
I'm ខ្ញុំឈ្មោះសារ៉ាត់ខ្ញុំមានបងប្អូន9នាក់រស់នៅក្នុងគ្រួសារកសិករក្នុងឆ្នាំ70ចុងឆ្នាំ70ក្នុងឆ្នាំ75ខ្ញុំចុះក្នុងពេលចូលឆ្នាំខ្ញុំកំពុងតែសប្បាយរីករាយនឹងការចូលឆ្នាំអត់ធ្វើបន្ទាប់ពីចូលឆ្នាំហើយបានប្រហែលថ្ងៃគេខ្មែរក្រហមចូលដល់ស្រុកគេក៏ប្រកាសឲ្យប្រជាជនចេញពីស្រុកទៅរស់នៅតាមស្រែតាមភូមិទៅថា3ថ្ងៃនឹងត្រឡប់មកវិញពួកខ្ញុំទាំងអស់គ្នាទាំង9នាក់ហ្នឹងបានទាំងពងផ្ដាយហ្នឹងក៏នាំគ្នាទៅតែអត់បានយល់អ្វីទៅទេក៏ទៅដល់គ្មានទីជំរកគ្មានអ្វីទាំងអស់ទៅដល់កន្លែងហ្នឹងគេក៏អត់មានចែកអីក៏នាំគ្នាដើររបេះស្អីយកមកបងប្អូនទាំងអស់ធ្វើជំរករស់នៅទាំងអស់គ្នាទៅដល់នេះក្នុងបានផែ2 3អាទិត្យគេក៏ជ្រើសរើសយកអ្នកណាពេញកម្លាំងនឹងទៅធ្វើការនៅ ស្រែគេក៏ដកចេញទៅខ្ញុំមិនចង់ទៅទេព្រោះខ្ញុំនឹកម្ដាយខ្ញុំណាស់មិនចង់បែកមិនចង់អីហើយបងប្រុសខ្ញុំប្អូនប្រុសខ្ញុំអីបែកគ្នាអស់គេដកចេញពីឪពុកម្ដាយតែដល់ខ្ញុំទៅនៅក្នុងចំណោមនារីទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងគេឲ្យពួកខ្ញុំហ្នឹងទៅធ្វើស្រែទៅធ្វើអីក្នុងទឹកគ្មានដូចគ្មានថ្ងៃណាមួយថាអត់រស់អត់ចុះទឹកឯព្រលឹមឡើងម៉ោង4គេដាស់ឲ្យយើងចុះទៅឯប៉ុនឲ្យចុះទៅធ្វើស្រែអីគេឲ្យរបបក្នុងមួយក្រុមគេឲ្យមួយកំប៉ុងហើយបបរទៅគេចែកមកវេកបើអ្នកណាអត់ទៅធ្វើការឲ្យគេទេគេឲ្យយើងញ៉ាំអីទេហើយខ្ញុំយប់ឡើងខ្ញុំដេកទៅយំនឹកម្ដាយខ្ញុំមិនចង់នៅទេពេលតែខ្លាចហើយណាមួយគេមើលមកខ្ញុំថាខ្ញុំជាដូចខ្ញុំសអីចឹងគេថាខ្ញុំនាយទុនអីចឹងគេក៏ដូចតាមដានអីទៅមានថ្ងៃមួយខ្ញុំក៏នឹកម៉ែពេកត្រឹមបានក៏លួចរត់ចេញពីក្រុមនារីនឹងទៅខ្ញុំធ្វើជាទូលកច្រែងពេលព្រឹកហ្នឹងទូកច្រែងទៅគេសួរថាមេនារីទៅណាខ្ញុំក៏ថាខ្ញុំទៅយកបាយទៅឲ្យអ្នកធ្វើការអញ្ចឹងគេក៏ឲ្យខ្ញុំទៅដល់ខ្ញុំទៅដល់ភូមិម្ដាយខ្ញុំសួរទៅគាត់ថាគាត់អត់មិនហ៊ានឲ្យកូននៅទេកូនទៅត្រឡប់ទៅកន្លែងវិញបើនៅគេតាមដានអីចឹងទៅខ្ញុំក៏ត្រឡប់មកវិញហើយខ្ញុំក៏គ្មានអីញ៉ាំមានអីនេះទេក៏ទៅលួចបេះអីគេចឹងទៅមានថ្ងៃមួយហ្នឹងពួកប្រុសហ្នឹងគេទៅមុនទៅសម្រាប់ពីការងារខ្ញុំក៏ទៅតាមគេជីកដលងតាមដានគេតាមពីក្រោយគេក៏ពួកឆ្លួបហ្នឹងគេលឺសូគេដេញបាញ់ឲ្យខ្ញុំមានអីរត់មកជាសំណាងល្អដែរមិនដឹងថាចេះលបងលួសទូចមួយខ្ញុំអាចផ្លោះចេញបានមករស់ដល់បន្ទាប់ពីនឹងមកក៏គេឲ្យខ្ញុំគេដូចថាគេស្វាញឲ្យថាខ្ញុំអត់មានបញ្ហាអីគេក៏ឲ្យខ្ញុំនៅធ្វើការនឹងទៀតដល់ក្រោយមកទៀតខ្ញុំលួចរត់ទៀតក្នុងឆ្នាំចុងឆ្នាំ79ដែលយួនចូលមកទៅក៏ខ្ញុំរត់មកនៅជាមួយម្ដាយខ្ញុំជួបម្ដាយខ្ញុំឪពុកខ្ញុំប៉ុន្តែបងប្រុសប្អូនប្រុសប្អូនស្រីខ្ញុំអត់ទេអត់បានជួបទេបែកខ្ញែកទេហើយខ្ញុំស្លាប់អស់ប្អូនប្រុសមួយដែលវាញ៉ាំស្រូវទៅក៏វាកើតជារោគមូលក៏ស្លាប់ក្នុងរបបពលពតហើយគ្មានអីកប់គ្មានអីរុំទេមានតែបាវមួយយកទៅកប់ក្នុងនេះហើយដល់រួចនឹងទៅក៏បានត្រឡប់មកពួកដែលពេលយួនចូលមកក៏នាំគ្នារត់មករត់ផ្ទះកំណើតរបស់ខ្លួនវិញអញ្ចឹងទៅមកដល់អស់អីលីងអស់គេរុះរើអស់ទៅនឹងឯងរឿងខ្ញុំមានតែប៉ុណ្្នឹងខ្ញុំចាំបានតែប៉ុណ្្នឹង
អរគុណមីងចាដែលបានចែករំលែករឿងនៅថ្ងៃនេះ Thank you. My name is Saroth. I have 9 brothers and sisters. I live with my parents. Back in 1975, in April, we celebrating New Year with our family and friends. It was a very happy time for me, most the happiest time. But right after the Cambodian New Year, the Khmer Rouge evacuated us to the countryside. And all my family members, the 9 of us, moved along and not bringing anything with us because they told us to just leave for 3 days and we'll get to come back home. When we arrived to the area, there's no shelter or food. We have to build our own shelter and food and finding food. Later, they choose some youth that have some strength to work. And that time they choose me. I was 13 years old back then. I didn't want to separate from my family, but I have to move far away to another camp with other women group. Every 4 a.m. I have to get up and work at the rice field with the woman group. They would give us 1 cup of rice for one group to share. Every night I would sleep and crying and missing my family and my mom, and I want to see them. I'm very nervous, I'm scared at nighttime, but one night I decide to sneak out to see my family. On the way, there's a comrade asking me a question. Where are you going? I said, I am delivering food for some workers. And the soldier let me go. When I got to my mom's home, I was very happy to see my mom's face. But my mom told me to leave right away because she doesn't want me to be caught. So I came back to the camp with the woman group. I was very hungry. I would sometimes go pick some fruits, and I see some guy groups, they went to dig some potatoes, so I went along. While we were digging the potatoes, we heard the gun shot. The soldier kept shooting, and then I was trying to running away and escaped. And it was a really small hole on the gate, but I could go through it. I didn't know why. Maybe I was in luck. In 1979, the end of the Khmer Rouge regime, I went back to see my parents, but we lost our little brother. He died because of he eating raw rice, and he had the stomach ache, and there's no treatment. When this all ends, we hope to live a better life. But when we returned back to our home, everything was destroyed. We have nothing.
Thank you so much, Saroth. Remember when each one of them are sharing personal stories, they're really telling the collective history of the people. They touch me so much through these past few months of working with them. So I really appreciate the gift that each one of them has given me. Lisa, thank you for the interpretation. Take it over for music.
Thank you, Ada, and thank you, Mi, for sharing your story. It's reminded me a lot about my mother and my grandmother who lived through the Khmer Rouge regime, and they always tell me story. And my mom, she was very small back then, but she would tell me the story of sneaking out at night to go back and see her mother. And she always telling me that back then it was a dark time. As a small child, she would want to look for light, a new beginning somewhere, a new life. So the next song is about the beginning of life. Pka Kampong Rej. Pka Kampong Rej, it means blossoming flowers. Let's hear Pka Kampong Rej.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ
Oh, thank you so much. I didn't realize that you can all sing so beautifully, Angel's voice. So thank you so much. And so here is the third segment of our storytelling. So this is what the question is. What is the most difficult thing after arriving in the United States? So I'm going to have P first. To share the story. What's the most difficult thing for you after arriving in the United States?
ចាបងឥឡូវសំណួរ
Unmute
ចាំ
yourself.
ចាសំណួរសួរថាតើបងមានផលលំបាកយ៉ាងណាដោយម្ដេចខ្លះដែលបន្ទាប់ពីមកដល់ប្រទេសអាមេរិកហ្នឹងចាតើមានផលលំបាកយ៉ាងដូចម្ដេចដែរចា
ជាដំបូងដែលបានមករស់នៅសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកជាលើកដំបូងហើយវិបាកគឺពេលដែលយើងចុះពីកប៉ាល់ហោះមកចំពោះឪពុកម្ដាយរបស់ខ្ញុំគឺឪពុករបស់ខ្ញុំគាត់មានបងប្អូនតែ2នាក់គឺបងស្រីគាត់ហើយគាត់នឹងរំពឹងថានឹងបានជួបបងស្រីរបស់គាត់នៅពេលដែលគាត់ចុះពីលើពលានយន្តហោះប៉ុន្តែជាអកុសលអីពេលគាត់ចុះមកគាត់រមើលបងស្រីរបស់គាត់នឹងមកទទួលគាត់ប៉ុន្តែអត់ឃើញគាត់កំព្រាឪពុកម្ដាយតាំងពីអាយុ7ឆ្នាំគាត់សង្ឃឹមថានឹងបានរួមរស់នៅជិតគ្នានឹងថែរក្សាគ្នានេះគឺជាបញ្ហាចម្បងនៅក្នុងក្រុមគ្រួសារទី1របស់ខ្ញុំដែលអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាមិនអាចទទួលយកបាននៅភាពសោកសៅនេះហើយបញ្ហាមួយទៀតគឺដោយសារការលំបាករបស់ខ្ញុំគឺធាតុអាកាសគឺវាត្រជាក់ព្រោះខ្ញុំមកហ្នឹងគឺប៉ះខែត្រជាក់ខែ12វាត្រជាក់ហើយនឹងបញ្ហាមួយទៀតគឺ រឿងភាសាដូចយើងធ្លាប់រៀនភាសាអង់គ្លេសបានតិចតួចនៅតាមជំរំខាលដាងនៅតាមឈើនៅតាមវត្តអីចឹងណាដូចថា pronunciate វាខុសគ្នានឹងpronunciate នៅពួកអាមេរិកកាំងគេផ្ទាល់និយាយផ្ទាល់ចឹងហើយថាមានការលំបាកហើយពេលថ្ងៃមួយខ្ញុំទៅ Puppy Head ទៅ Springfield ខ្ញុំបានទៅរកសមាគមខ្មែរយើងលោកអ៊ំសែមគាត់បានប្រាប់ direction ឲ្យទៅ Springfield ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំបានទៅរកឃើញប៉ុន្តែដល់ពេលត្រឡប់មកវិញដូចថាខ្ញុំអត់ហ៊ានសួរគេដូចថាយើងនិយាយទៅយើងខ្លាចខុសពាក្យ pronunciation ហ្នឹងវាអត់ដូចថាគេស្ដាប់អត់បានដូចថាក្នុងចិត្តដូចថាភ័យខ្លាចអត់ហ៊ាននិយាយបញ្ចេញយោបល់ប្រាប់គេប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំក៏បានជីកបាននឹងត្រឡប់មកវិញខ្ញុំដឹងថាមិនដឹងថាខាងណាសាវខាងណាណតខាងណាវេសអីទេគឺឲ្យតែផ្លូវត្រង់ទៅគឺថាផ្ទះខ្ញុំនៅជិតមាត់ទន្លេអាហ្នឹងដឹងតែផ្លូវផ្ទះខ្ញុំហើយខ្ញុំក៏ជិះទៅខ្ញុំបាសហ្នឹងក៏ឈប់នៅកន្លែងមាត់ទន្លេហ្នឹងខ្ញុំក៏ចុះទៅខ្ញុំក៏ដើរតម្រង់ទៅរកកន្លែងប៉ោះប៉ូលីសហ្នឹងក៏សួរគេសួរពីរឿង address ប្រាប់ផ្លូវប្រាប់សួរពីរឿងផ្ទះយើង address យើងអញ្ចឹងទៅគេក៏ប្រាប់ឲ្យជីបាសលេខប្រមាណខ្ញុំក៏ចាប់ដើមជីមកហើយក៏រកផ្ទះរបស់ខ្ញុំឃើញដោយសុវត្ថិភាពដូច្នេះការលំបាករបស់ខ្ញុំគឺរឿងភាសាអង់គ្លេសហើយនឹងយើងខ្លាចគេអត់ហ៊ានសួរគេយ៉ាមានតែប៉ុណ្្នឹងឯងសូមអរគុណ
អរគុណបងដែលបានចែករំលែកចានៅរឿង My family had arrived at the airport and my dad expect to see his sister at the airport. My dad is an orphan and my dad has a really good relationship with his sister and he expected to see her and spend life together here in the United States. But unfortunately, no matter where, he trying to look, he didn't see her coming to the airport. Unfortunately, his sister passed away one day before he arrived to United States. So it was very sad for him to not able to live a new life with his sister. And for me, the most difficult things that I find is weather. It's so cold in December when we first arrived. And also the language, it's really difficult for me because even though I learned the language back at the refugee camp, I'm still afraid to talk or say something because I'm afraid they won't understand my accent. Maybe I might pronounce the wrong word, so I'm scared to talk to people. One day I took bus to Springfield to visit the Cambodian Association. And when I come back, the only things I know is that my house is near the lake. So I know that if the bus going straight to the lake, I will get home safely. But when the bus stopped, I left the bus and I'm lost. I don't know where's direction. I don't know where south or east. I only know that my house is near the lake. But then I decided to go to the police station and ask for help. I give them my address and they told me what bus to take so that I could come back home safely. Therefore, language was really difficult for me when I first arrived here.
Great, thank you so much. Saroth, what's the most difficult thing for you after arriving in the United States? Go ahead.
ក្នុងមួយគ្រួសារខ្ញុំមាន9នាក់ខ្ញុំចុះមកព្រោះអត់ដឹងថាម៉េចដូចថាគេប្រើទ្វារម៉េចខ្ញុំឃើញទ្វារវិលក៏នាំគ្នាចូលទាំងអស់គ្នាក៏ស្តាក់ក៏ចាប់នៅនឹងទៅចាប់នឹងប៉ូលីសក៏គេអ្នកយាមទ្វារហ្នឹងក៏ឲ្យចេញម្ដងមួយដល់ទីទៅក៏គេមានអ្នកទទួលខ្ញុំយកពី airport ហ្នឹងទៅដាក់នៅកលីគេដាក់យកទៅកន្លែងអូតែលមួយយ៉ាងស្អាតហើយពួកខ្ញុំអត់នេះនាំគ្នាដូចថាដូចអ្នកស្រែចូលក្រុងអញ្ចឹងឃើញថាអូយរបស់គេស្អាតទៅប៉ះនេះប៉ះនោះសម្រាប់អ្នកគេបម្រើនៅហ្នឹងគេថាកំប៉ះអីចឹងទៅហើយមានថ្ងៃមួយប្អូនខ្ញុំហ្នឹងក៏វាយកទៅខលទូរស័ព្ទហ្នឹងក៏គេថាអូឲ្យខលចេញអត់កើតទេដល់រួចពីហ្នឹងទៅហើយគេឲ្យញ៉ាំបាយញ៉ាំអីរួចនឹង2ថ្ងៃគេចែកអាវល្ងាអីព្រោះខ្ញុំមកហ្នឹងចំខែ6ថ្ងៃទី6ខែ6ឆ្នាំ2000ឆ្នាំ1984ខ្ញុំមកដល់ US ចំខែ6ជាខែហ្នឹងនៅ snow ធ្លាក់ឡើយគេចែកខោអាវល្ងាអីឲ្យទៅបាន3ថ្ងៃបានខ្ញុំមក sponsor ខ្ញុំ sponsor យកមកនៅមក Chicago ហើយពួកខ្ញុំអត់អង់គ្លេសរៀនដែររៀនតាំងពីចរុំរៀនពេលតាណាមានសាលារៀនប៉ុន្តែនៅដូចអត់យល់ដែរប៉ុន្តែយើងនិយាយទៅអត់វាគេអត់យល់យើងអញ្ចឹងក៏មានថ្ងៃមួយខ្ញុំទៅចុះឈ្មោះរៀននៅឈើចរៀននៅឈើចរៀនរាល់ល្ងាចបន្ទាប់ពីនេះខ្ញុំក៏បន្ទាប់ពីរៀនហ្នឹងថ្ងៃខ្ញុំទៅធ្វើការមកវិញចូលរៀនឈើចហើយរៀនទៅក៏មានពួកម៉ាក់ខ្ញុំម្នាក់ហ្នឹងក៏និយាយគ្នាលេងនិយាយព្រោះជារៀនដំបូងម្នាក់ចង់គេថាចង់ទិញក្រូចឆ្មាហើយគេសួរទៅទិញក្រូចឆ្មានៅណាតាទៅទិញនៅហាងគេទៅហើយសួរគេទៅថាក្រូចឆ្មានេះក្រូចគេហៅអូរ៉ាន់ដល់ឆ្មាគេខេតតែក៏នាំគ្នានាំគ្នាថាអញ្ចឹងមានថាក៏អូរ៉ាន់ខេតតែអញ្ចឹងទៅហើយដល់រួចទៅនាំគ្នាទៅ store ដល់ទៅហាងកន្លែងទិញបន្លែហ្នឹងក៏សួរគេក៏ធ្វើងីងើអត់ដឹងត្រឡប់មកវិញខ្មាស់គេត្រឡប់មកវិញដល់មកជួបគ្នាសួរគ្រូថាមែននេះហ្នឹងខុសហើយនិយាយខុសហើយក៏ហើយទៅដល់រួចពីនឹងមកទៀតខ្ញុំក៏មករួចពីនឹងមកទៀតខ្ញុំមករៀននៅសមាគមខ្មែរឆ្លៀតពេលមករៀននៅសមាគមខ្មែរកាលនោះសមាគមខ្មែរនៅ Uptown រៀនជាសាមលីផ្សារអីទៅខ្ញុំក៏បានរៀនគ្រូឈ្មោះគ្រូផានគាត់បរៀនឲ្យតម្លើងជារត់ស្គូលរយោមួយហើយខ្ញុំក៏បានធ្វើដោយបំណងគាត់បរៀនខ្ញុំអាចធ្វើជារយោឲ្យបានស្ដាប់បានហើយខ្ញុំក៏ត្រេកអរនឹងការដែលខ្ញុំបានជោគជ័យនឹងធ្វើអានឹងមួយដែលខ្ញុំបានមកដល់សហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកជាពិសេសបំផុតគឺភាសាហ្នឹងហើយដែលពិបាកចំពោះខ្ញុំចាខ្ញុំអត់មានអីមានប៉ុណ្ណឹង
អរគុណមិញដែលបានចែករំលែករឿងចា There are 9 members in our family. When we first arrived at the airport in the United States, we saw the door that are turning around. We all go through the doors and stuck there until someone came to help us to bring us out from the door. And later on, they pick us up and bring us to a nice hotel, very beautiful. We want to touch everything that we see because it's so pretty. And we even tried to use the phone in the hotel, but it did not work. At that time, they gave us the winter coat. Even though we arrived in June 1984, there's still snow. 3 days later, our sponsor come to take us to Chicago. wherever we go, we always learn English. But I don't know why. I don't know how to speak English. I understand a little bit, but when I speak, they don't understand me. So I go to church and learn some English with my friend after work. My friend want to buy lemon in Khmer, which means krochma. Back then, I don't know what's lemon, how you say lemon. And we thought in Khmer is kroch, it means orange, chma, it means cat. So we say orange cat. And when I go to grocery store, I ask for orange cat, and they don't understand me. So I came back to class and then asking my teacher, how do I say this word? Because I'm trying to buy that vegetable. And then my teacher told us it's called lemon. Since then, I learned a word. After that, I also go to learn English at the Cambodian Association of Illinois. That time, the association was in Uptown. We have a teacher named Pan, yes, sorry. She taught us how to create the radio. So for me, the most difficult thing is to speak the language.
Oh, thank you so much, both of you. Thank you so much. What we have seen so far are stories of survival, but also stories of strength and resilience, how they have come a long way to not just survive, but also thrive here in the United States. We have another segment, but Nisa, thank you for the interpretation, and back to you for the music.
Thank you, Ada. សូមមេត្តាអធិស្ឋានចំពោះគុណភាពនៃវីដេអូដែលបានចាក់ផ្សាយចា and sorry that the video is a little bit slow. It's the technical issue. So thank you, Ming, for sharing the story. Even though a lot of Cambodian people, arrive to the United States, the new land, to live a new life, they always talk about Cambodia. And everywhere I go and perform, they always request this song. I think this is the most favorite songs of Cambodian people. It's called Tropang Piei, which mean the pawn. Tropang Piei is the song that play in the classical wedding music. It's play when to represent the newly wed that they are going to take care of one another till they part. So we'll also be hearing our 3 storytellers that they're going to sing in this song as well. Please hear it, Tropang Piei.
Oh, thank you so much. Beautiful music, beautiful voice. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you so much. And we're toward the last segment of our storytelling. So what we're going to do is to go around very quickly for all of you to participate in this prompt. And the prompt is this: where do you find your strength? Where do you find your strength? We're going to start with Celena.
Thank you so much. The strength that I have, it's what I've been through with shooting, bombing, so what, hard life during that time. It's, my family, especially my children. I want them to know that because of you guys, this is what make me who I am. I want to say, mommy lived all those hard life, but I'm so glad I never shared this story with this before. And I was one of the lucky. I'm not sure how many million people, at least mommy lived to tell the story. And I just want, it's hard to share, but I just want to say, I want to keep the story, all those past as my memory, but want to live for, share this event, what happening, what I learned right now, keep us better in the future because of you guys and the community that I love, that I share. I still, have connected. That was the most beautiful that I ever talk about it. But thank you, Ada, Karu, spend all this time with me. This is my first time doing the speech. I really appreciate it to bring me being here, even though I'm not doing it perfect, but forgive me, that was the best I can do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you when you say something so important. All of you survive to tell the stories. That's the most important thing. You're going to make me cry. You always make me cry, Celena. Your strength lies in your care, love for your children, family, and community. Pete, go ahead.
មានកម្លាំងចិត្តមកដល់សពថ្ងៃដោយសារខ្ញុំធ្លាប់ឆ្លងកាត់នៅភ្លើងសង្គ្រាមភាពក្រីក្រភាពអត់ឃ្លានដូច្នេះចំណុចទាំងអស់នេះហើយដែលធ្វើឲ្យអារម្មណ៍របស់ខ្ញុំចាក់ដោត ហើយខ្ញុំតែងតែពន្យល់ប្រាប់កូនរបស់ខ្ញុំថាម្ដាយថាខ្ញុំនឹងមកពីណាបានឆ្លងកាត់អ្វីខ្លះខ្ញុំតែងតែប្រាប់ពួកគេថាឲ្យខំតស៊ូខិតខំរៀនសូត្រហើយនឹងមានអនាគតល្អទៅមុខចេះតស៊ូការលំបាកគ្រប់បែបយ៉ាងគឺយើងត្រូវតែខំតស៊ូខ្ញុំប្រាប់ថាខ្ញុំគឺជាយើងគឺជាជនជាតិខ្មែរខ្ញុំគឺជាខ្មែរខ្ញុំឆ្លងកាត់អ្វីខ្លះឲ្យពួកគេខំប្រឹងព្យាយាមរៀនសូត្រហើយនឹងជួយខ្លួនឯងហើយនឹងជួយក្រុមគ្រួសារហើយនឹងធ្វើអ្វីល្អៗសម្រាប់សង្គមនិងអ្នកជុំវិញរស់នៅនឹងអ្នកជុំវិញខ្លួនយើងពាក្យទូន្មានរបស់ខ្ញុំគឺមានតែប៉ុណ្្នឹងទេហើយខ្ញុំក៏សូមអរគុណដល់អេដាវិសាអូននិងក្រុមបច្ចេកទេសទាំងអស់ដែលបានខំចំណាយពេលវេលាស្ដាប់រឿងពិតជីវិតពិតរបស់ខ្ញុំពីបច្ចុប្បន្នមកដល់ពីអតីតរហូតមកដល់បច្ចុប្បន្ននេះសូមអរគុណ
ច្រើន Where I get the strength. I went through wars and poverty. I went through a lot. Had a hard time. And experience that I went through was really hard. I always tell my children of what I went through. I always encourage them to study hard for their future. And I always remind them that we are Cambodian, we are Khmer. You have to work hard for yourself. Do good things for other people and the society. That's what I told my children. And thank you, Ada. Thank you, Nisa. And thank you all the team that giving me this opportunity to share my true story. And thank you for spending your valuable time to listening to my true story. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. You make me cry again. We're going to cry a lot in this segment. Thank you so much. You just give us, all three of you give us gift. Saroth, go ahead. Where do you find your strength?
ដែលខ្ញុំនេះខ្ញុំឆ្លងកាត់នៅរោងទុកលំបាកជាច្រើនប្រត់ប្រាស់ម៉ែឪប្រត់ប្រាស់បងប្អូនអត់បានជួបជុំតែនៅពេលនេះខ្ញុំគិតថាអ្នកបងប្អូនខ្ញុំគឺធ្វើម៉េចបើវាហួសទៅហើយខ្ញុំក៏គិតមកបច្ចុប្បន្ននេះខ្ញុំគិតថាកូនខ្ញុំបានមករស់នៅស្រុកអាមេរិកនេះកូនខ្ញុំមាន education ចេះបានរៀនចេះដឹងបានចប់សាលារៀនចេះដឹងពីទំនៀមទម្លាប់ខ្ញុំតែងតែបញ្យល់ថាកូនត្រូវតែខំប្រឹងកុំមើលមកម៉ាក់អត់ចេះអីពិបាកណាស់ត្រូវតែខំតែកូនខ្ញុំស្ដាប់ខ្ញុំបានរៀនចប់ទាំងអស់គ្នាបាន diploma ហើយខ្លះទៅក៏បានចូល college ចប់ college តែចប់ college ហើយក៏ខ្ញុំដូចថារំភើបដែលខ្ញុំបានកូនខ្ញុំដូចថាមានចំណេះវិជ្ជាហើយ have education ទាំងអស់គ្នាខ្ញុំសប្បាយចិត្តចាប់ពីរហូតមកដល់ឥឡូវនេះខ្ញុំសប្បាយដូចថាសប្បាយខ្ញុំគិតដែរពីមើលងាកមើលទៅក្រោយគឺបងប្អូនខ្ញុំទុករំបាកវេទនាធ្វើម៉េចបើខ្ញុំវានេះហើយខ្ញុំត្រូវ take care កូនខ្ញុំសិនហើយខ្ញុំបើខ្ញុំនេះក៏ខ្ញុំអាចជួយទៅបងប្អូនខ្ញុំបានខ្លះដែររឿងខ្ញុំមានតែប៉ុណ្្នឹងឯងចា៎
អរគុណច្រើនមេងដែលបានចែករំលែករឿងនៅថ្ងៃនេះ It's in the past that I had to separate it from my family, didn't get to spend enough time with my family. and it's all in the past. But coming here to the United States, my children get education. I always tell them that, look at me, I don't have education, and it's really hard to go to work and hard to do things. It's really difficult. So you must finish school. So my children listen to me and finish college. I am so proud of them. Looking back, all my relatives are living hard life. And I'm going to continue helping them and also continue living my life for the better, for my family and for myself. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for all three of you, and Lisa for the interpretation. Can you imagine? All three of them have never told their stories in in public before, but gosh, I get so emotional. But they have accomplished what sometimes some professional storytellers cannot do. They have been so vulnerable, so truthful, so honest, and they bare their soul with us. So I want to thank all three of you. Stories are the gift that we give one another, and you just give. Today, give so many of your gifts and talent to the universe, not just to your family and community. So I want to thank you for that, but also acknowledge all three of you have demonstrated the leadership, right? The love of Cambodian women have for their children and family and community. Whether you occupy an official leadership position or you're not, you have led, right, with your survival, but also more importantly, your strength and resilience. So if you're a younger generation watching the show, this event today, please talk to your parents, talk to older people, talk to the elders, ask about the history, about their stories. Sharing story is so important. So thank you, thank you, thank you, all three of you. Just beautifully done. You made me proud and you made me cry. Nisa, take over.
Thank you, Ada. First, I would like to say a few words in Khmer language to all the aunties. ដំបូងគឺខ្ញុំសូមអរគុណដល់មីងចាទាំងអស់ដែលបានចែករំលែករឿងចាតាំងពីនៅស្រុកខ្មែររហូតមកដល់អាមេរិកចានិយាយទៅការតស៊ូរបស់មីងគឺស្វិតស្វាញមែនតែនដែលខ្ញុំសូមកោតសរសើរជាខ្លាំងគឺនិយាយទៅខ្ញុំធ្វើការនៅសារមន្ទីរនេះក៏បានយូរឆ្នាំដែរហើយគឺខ្ញុំបានស្ដាប់រឿងទាំងអស់ដែលអ្នកមីងនិយាយថាបានឆ្លងកាត់មកគឺខ្ញុំសូមកោតសរសើរដែលតស៊ូមកដល់សប្តាហ៍ថ្ងៃនេះគឺមិនមែនជារឿងធម្មតាទេហើយក៏នៅមានន័យថាចិញ្ចឹមកូនហើយនឹងព្យាយាមឲ្យកូនបានទៅរៀនទៅសូត្រអីហ្នឹងគឺខ្ញុំសូមកោតសរសើរដល់ការតស៊ូរបស់មីងទាំង3ចា So thank you for sharing your story today. As for me, a younger generation, it is part of the history that I should learn and understand. My parents, my grandmother also went through and lived through the Khmer Rouge regime. And I believe that your story today will show your legacy, your strength, your perseverance. And as for us, we're going to keep listening to you, keep talking to you, and the next song is for you. So I'm going to present you this song, Nesat. Nesat is a very uplifting music. It's the way that all the fishermen celebrate when they find fish. There are the saying in Cambodia, "Mien tak, mien trai." Where is water, there is fish. That's make a lot of evoke a lot of memories for all Cambodian people who live back in the day and going fishing. And a lot of Cambodian cuisine also use a lot of fish. And you may know is our main cuisine is the prohok, which is mean fermented fish. And I hope when you listen to this song, it will give you joy. Please hear Nesat.
We have one final performance for you, but before we do that, I want to thank our storytellers today, Ming Saroth, Celena, and Pich, for having the courage to share your stories today. It has been iterated over and over again, and I hope that you get that. And I hope that you take the time to watch yourself share your story and read the comments and the love and support that the community has given you today, because I know that it has not been easy for you to share your story and the courage that it took. So I thank you for that. And I want you to realize how important it is for your children to hear it, for my generation to hear it, and for my children to hear it as well, so that your stories are not lost and they are not forgotten. So I want to thank you for that. There was like one of the comments that someone shared. She said, the stories my parents can still not tell. It means a lot, and I hope as a community we can find peace. មានឪពុកម្ដាយច្រើនណាស់ដែលមិនអាចប្រាប់រឿងពីដើមឲ្យកូនយល់ហើយមិញដែលបានប្រាប់រឿងពីដើមនឹករលឹកពីរឿងដើមថ្ងៃនេះខ្ញុំសូមអរគុណច្រើនព្រោះអីមិញបានប្រាប់អញ្ចឹងបានជួយពួកយើងច្រើនដែរបានឲ្យដឹងរឿងសាច់រឿងហើយឲ្យយល់ so ខ្ញុំសូមអរគុណ I want to thank Nisa, our staff, our board, and the viewers for spending the afternoon with us and taking the time to honor our loved ones and reflect on the experiences of our survivors. It means so much for us that you are here with us today. The amount of work that everyone has put into making this program happen today is just absolutely incredible. So thank you for taking the time to join us today. Ada, I know you cry every single time. I want to thank you so much for providing the space for these women to come forward and share their stories, to be part of our collective healing. I thank you so much and how much it means to us to hear these women and their uplifting stories as well. Tom, you're not in the picture right now, but I hope you can hear me. I want to thank you for your partnership and your collaboration. It means a lot for us to have your music transcend to a broader audience, and that you and your team have been able to do it with so much respect and dignity for who we are as Cambodians, and for you to be a partner with us in our healing journey. So I want to thank you for that, Tom. We want to thank the Cambodian community. We want them to know, especially on this day, every year, the National Cambodian Heritage Museum and Killing Fields Memorial hosts a day of remembrance. No matter how large or small, and in the middle of this pandemic, we are making this happen because we want to hold this space to honor and remember those who lost their lives, and to recognize the sacrifice of our loved ones who lost so much along the way. Your history and your legacy continues to live through us, and we hope that we can do you proud. So thank you. For the rest of the audience members who are here with us today, I hope that you got as much out of the program as we got out of it. It's also important time for self-care and healing, and it comes in many shapes and forms. We hope that by putting this program together with you this afternoon, that you'll be able to continue to have these conversations with your own family as well, and have that space for healing as the journey continues. So last but not least, we have a final medley from Nisa.
Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Ada. It was really great that I got to work with you and help the women to tell their stories. And thanks, Tom, for the partnership and Crossing Borders Music and the whole team, Jen, Raza, and Seth, that play with us. I learned a lot, and this music will bring a lot of people joy. And the next song is the Cambodian medley. It's the combination of 3 songs. The first song is called Kolab Batambong, and Kolab Batambong, which means rose of Batambong. This song, I never heard it before. it's happened to be this year that I got to hear it on YouTube, and thought that it would be nice to bring it back so everyone could hear it. The second song is Robam Konsai Snae, which is mean, charming scarf or handkerchief. This song is played for folk dance, but this song really reminded me a lot about my Cambodian music master, Tep Marie. She's one of the survivors from the Khmer Rouge regime, and she taught me music. And I want to say thank you, Nek Kru Tep Marie and Nek Kru Long On, for teaching me the music. And music that I'm sharing today will help a lot of people and will bring joys to them. So thank you. And this song is the reason that is reminded me about my music master was because in the village, she's the only one who know how to play it. And I thought that during the Khmer Rouge regime, they targeted the artists. And so only 10% of artists were, survived, but the music were not written down. So for her to be able to play songs that people almost forgotten, it was beautiful. So I wanted to bring these songs for you to listen. The last song is called Ao Dung Chan. You probably remember the first song that you heard called Resmay Dung Chan, the moonlight. The moonlight is the song that we sing for when we're longing for someone or missing our homeland. But for this song, Ao Dung Chan, the moon, it's to celebrate, to admire the moon and say thank you, being grateful and be thankful to the moon for being here for us. And last, I would like to show my gratitude to our storytellers again for sharing your stories. It's really important for us younger generation to hear. And Ada, Crossing Borders Music, and our music arranger, Raza Mahmudian. Thank you so much. And please hear the song Kola Batambong, Robam Kansai Snae, Ao Dung Chan.